The notion that the science on climate change is a lie to manipulate Christians is a misconception that has been perpetuated by certain groups and individuals. This claim is often based on the idea that climate change is a myth created by scientists and politicians to control people's behaviors and beliefs, particularly those of Christians. However, this assertion is not supported by the overwhelming evidence and scientific consensus on climate change. Climate change is a well-documented and widely accepted phenomenon that has been extensively studied by scientists across various disciplines. The evidence for human-induced climate change is vast and comes from multiple lines of research, including temperature records, melting glaciers, sea level rise, and shifts in the distribution of plants and animals. The scientific consensus on climate change is clear. It is real, it is happening now, and it is primarily caused by human activities, such as burning fossil fuels and deforestation. The idea that climate change is a hoax or a conspiracy to manipulate Christians is often rooted in misinformation and a lack of understanding of the scientific process. Climate scientists use a variety of methods to study the climate, including computer models, satellite data, and on-the-ground observations. These methods have been repeatedly tested and validated, and their results have been peer-reviewed and published in reputable scientific journals. Moreover, the scientific community is not motivated by a desire to manipulate Christians or anyone else. Scientists are driven by a desire to understand the world around us and to develop solutions to pressing problems. The goal of climate science is to provide accurate and reliable information about the climate, not to promote a particular ideology or agenda. It is also worth noting that many Christians are actively engaged in efforts to address climate change, and they see it as a moral and spiritual issue. Pope Francis, for example, has spoken out about the need for urgent action on climate change, citing the biblical mandate to care for creation. Similarly, many Christian organizations and churches are working to reduce their carbon footprint and to promote sustainability. In addition, the claim that climate change is a lie to manipulate Christians is often based on a flawed understanding of the relationship between science and faith. Science and faith are not mutually exclusive, and many scientists are also people of faith. In fact, many Christians see science as a way of understanding God's creation and of fulfilling their responsibility to care for the earth. Another argument made by those who claim that climate change is a lie to manipulate Christians is that it is a form of secular religiosity that seeks to replace traditional Christian values with a new form of environmentalism. However, this argument is based on a false dichotomy between faith and science. Many Christians see caring for the environment as a fundamental aspect of their faith, and they believe that science can be a powerful tool for understanding and addressing environmental issues. In conclusion, the science on climate change is not a lie to manipulate Christians or anyone else. It is a well-established and widely accepted field of research that has been extensively studied and validated by the scientific community. The idea that climate change is a hoax or a conspiracy is a misconception that is not supported by the evidence and is often based on misinformation and a lack of understanding of the scientific process. Christians, like people of all faiths, have a moral and spiritual obligation to care for the earth and to address the pressing issue of climate change. By working together and using science as a tool, we can develop solutions to this critical problem and create a more sustainable future for all.